Hello everyone, welcome back to the True Crime Friday podcast with Lauren and Matt. Before we get into this episode, we're going to do a disclaimer. This podcast is completely ad-free. We make no money off this podcast and we never will. We do not have sponsors on this podcast, but this is not something that we're comfortable with. We want to just give out information that we have gathered out of an interest that we have mutually. That is all this is. We have an interest mutually on these type of subjects, and we like to gather the information for educational purposes and nothing else. We do not condone anything that we talk about within this podcast, and we do add a comedic effect to each of the episodes, but that's more to lighten the mood, and all comedic aspects are aimed at the criminal and not the victims of the crimes. We never mean to offend anyone with this podcast or make anyone uncomfortable. So before you go into this episode, please be aware that we will be talking about some graphic content. So please make yourself wary about which episodes you may be listening to. Thank you and enjoy the podcast. Hello everybody, welcome back bitches. Hola Matt, how you doing?
Hello.
Are the vibes good today?
Yeah.
So basic and
I don't have much to say when the vibes are good. Well, at least good. We're good where I am. So
that's good. The storm's not hit you yet, I take it.
Kinda. It's always funny. Well, it's always funny. Well, I say in the sense of that there was a yellow weather warning. Oh, sorry, my mic is a little low.
Fair.
Yellow weather warning. And while it was quite heavy rain this morning and there was little winds, but it's quite sunny now, so...
Yeah, we've got sun now. We've had, heavy winds, but I've been seeing, the footage from Leeds, from people who were at Leeds Fest and Creamfields this weekend, and how, the tents are just in the sky being blown away. I've never been more happy to not be at a festival right now.
To be fair, it's expected when they say there's going to be storms, and then you're going to be somewhere you're pitching a tent. So it was heavy rain this morning, and then it stopped gladly, and the sun is shining, because I don't like it when it's heavy rain. Just horrible vibes. And when there's a storm as well, usually because a lot of the places out here tend to get flooded very easily. And a lot of the places on the coast get hit very badly, because, well, I live quite near the coast, so... Yeah.
I'm one of those people who, if I don't have to go anywhere, if I can just stay inside, I love a storm. I love it. I live in a block of flats, so it's a bit easy, but I love it because I'm just like, right, heavy rain against my window, love it. If I can get some thunder, even better. I'm just like, this is so relaxing. I'll get a hot drink and I'll chill, wrap up in my blanket. Watch a really nice chilled movie or read a book. I love it. I sleep better in storms than I do any other weather. I'm one of those people. I love it. It's great. But yeah, everyone, welcome back to the podcast. We hope you have had a good time in between episodes, or if you are just binge listening, then hello. Hope you have had a good time binge listening. Please let me know if you do binge listen to this podcast, because that'd be interesting to know. But yeah, it's Matt's week this week. Matt, what case are we diving into today?
Actually, quite interesting, because we do about an hour an episode, so on the back of that, if people actually listen to this before they go to sleep, that would be interesting to know. Because my girlfriend listens to audiobooks and podcasts before she goes to sleep. So if anyone's using this to go to sleep, then...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We would get along very well because you like me then. I can't... If I watch a horror movie, I struggle to sleep afterwards. Or if I'm reading a horror book, I can struggle. I was reading Verity by Colleen Hoover. Over the past couple of days. I finished it, so you've read it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. But I was just, having dreams where Verity was watching me, and I was like, oh, I woke up and I just went, this is fucking disgusting. I went around to see my mum last night, and I was like, yeah, I finished Verity. She was like, oh, how'd you find it? And I was like, oh, it was good. Fucking hell, she's a creepy bitch, isn't she? And she just looked at me and went, did you have any, dreams about Verity watching you in the corner or something? And I went, yes, multiple times. It was horrible. But I can go to sleep after that kind of stuff. It does, like, after, like, you know, podcasts, like true crime podcasts, I can go to sleep afterwards. I don't mind it. I think it's, like, fine. Horror movies, though, no. I'll have nightmares. If it's real life stuff, I can go to sleep. Don't know what that says.
Yeah, well, I just thought it would be quite interesting if people do actually go to sleep listening to this stuff. We have some stuff that's not as bad as others, but, like, if, you know, you listen to that and that helps you, like, get knocked out or conked out, then that would be extremely kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But
are you like me, people? That's what we want to know.
It's my week now. I tried to find. Well, actually, I tried to find. This is the. Well, you're going to realize that I wanted to pick. Well, this week I've done another Japanese case. I tried to actually find, because I don't think we've ever done a case on someone from China or Chinese, but I have since discovered, in the same boat as when I do the Japanese cases, it's actually even harder to get information. And I don't know everything about China, but what I do know is they are very strict, and especially with the media and stuff that gets released and stuff that you can access. So there was information on people, but there wasn't enough. It was like, here's a serial killer, and then information on him and the case, very little. So I was scrolling through so many, and I'm like, I can't really find anything, and I don't know how I could find information. You know, I tried my hardest to have a look. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to find one. I really wanted to. There might be, but I guess that is due to the media and how much they release and information and gets here to the West on that sort of stuff. But there was still a few Japanese cases that had a decent amount of information on them because they weren't as harsh. So I thought, let me do another Japanese one. And you know what? It's kind of more of like a challenge, I feel like, when you try and do cases from somewhere where there isn't as much information released, because then it makes you, like, well, for me at least, it's like, it makes me feel like it's a challenge on the fact that I need to try and find more when I can, and see which cases actually get information released compared to other ones where there is less information. It seems very quite sporadic on what they decide to case-wise give the information for. But this case that I am covering now, we could title this by the killer's name, but this one actually, when you search it up, comes under as the 2008, and hopefully I'm saying this right, I do have translate up, Akihabara Massacre. I can actually say that, but I've got translate up just so I can pronounce names and stuff. And well, I've got it up so I can hear how it sounds in Japanese, but in translate, when you hear it in English, it's just the most English pronounced way of saying it in the American English accent. So, but no, the 2008 Akihabara Massacre. Now, in terms of a disclaimer, as I just go through, this is a massacre, so you kind of know what you're going to suspect. Lots of people die. Mass murder. We have to talk about stabbings in this case. We also have to talk about people getting run over. That's a key part of this case. And let's see. I don't think we talk about suicide as well. Some other people and family members. But anything else, I will obviously mention as I go, come up to talk about it. But the main one is obviously it's a mass murder and includes stabbing and the use of a vehicle. So very interesting. I actually, let me get up maps because I didn't Google Maps the location for this. Which, let me do this now and have a look at what it is now, because the image. Why can I not? Where's the man? The little yellow man. Because this will actually help me visualize it, actually. Because I was kind of visualizing it in my head just off the images that was popping up. And the thing is... Oh, wait, we're here. And the thing is, this was an interesting one when I was researching this, because it's Japan, and Japan is populated as fuck. And this case happens in Akihabara, which... is a neighborhood in the Chiyoda ward of Tokyo, and if anyone knows Tokyo, it's absolutely fucking huge. So a massacre pretty much in the middle of Tokyo, you get my drift, and I was like, okay, right in the bank, smack middle, mass murder. This is going to be interesting. So, without further ado, let's get in. And I do have some other tabs open because I have found some other bits of information off other stuff just while I was getting ready for this podcast, because, as I said, it's not always on the first sites that you get. So let's dive into it. So first off, I'll talk about the bio of the perpetrator himself, which is, and hopefully I'm saying this correct. So it's Tomohiro Kato, but what I've learned, and I think we did the last case in Japanese, when I put it in translate, it's last name and then first name. I don't know why they do that, but for any Japanese listeners, or for the purpose of it being Japanese case, Kato Tomohiro. So I don't know why they do that. Maybe for them it's normal that you say the last name and then the first name. Maybe because the last name is more significant, as in not everyone has that last name. You know what I mean? Imagine that, though, over here, if people started calling you by your last name first. Instead of like the Mr. whatever, they just said your last name and then your first name. I'd find that totally weird, but that's what they do in Japan, so I will... But for the purpose of this, I will just call him Kato, which is how you say it. So, as for the... Well, first off, as for the bio of Akihabara, it is, as I mentioned, it's Akihabara in Chiyoda, Tokyo, which is in Japan. This case happened, in the title it says 2008, but it happened on the 8th of June 2008 at around 12:33 to 12:36 JST, which I'm presuming is Japan Standard Time. The attack type is mass murder, vehicle ramming, and a stabbing. The weapons used were an Izu elf truck and a Smith and Wesson HRT dagger. There was 7 people that had died in this, with 11 injured, and as I mentioned, the perpetrator is Tomohiro Kato. That is his name, and he was born on September 28th, 1982. He was born in Aomori, Japan, and he is not alive anymore, but we'll go into that. And he was convicted on all counts of everyone that had died. And yes, and I must admit, well, I'm going to get an image of him now. Wait, if I get an actual image up of him now. Hang on. No, I want an actual image of him, because if I can spell it right. He has, well, in the images, the first image, man has a forehead. He definitely has a fucking forehead. That hairstyle's whack. That's definitely probably a more Japanese style hairstyle. But, I mean, man has a forehead that you could fly a fucking plane off of. And in terms of, there's a few other images released as well, of him on CCTV, and I think there's an image of him where he's in that alley. When he has been taken down by the police, I believe. And there's actual images, because it's 2008 and it's quite a recent thing. We'll talk about how there's more stuff to do with public presence and knowing about this. Now, there is a photo of some of the victims that are lying down on the ground, and some aerial shots of it as well. So, yes. Right, let's get into it. So, first off, I'm going to talk about the early life of the perpetrator himself, Tomohiro Kato. As I mentioned, he was born on the 20th of September, 1982 in Aomori, hopefully I'm saying that right, Japan, and he grew up in a suburban home in Aomori, suburban home. It's the first time I've seen it in a thing where it says suburban home, and I'm like, as a massive Descendant fan, you can't not just think Descendants there. I want to be stereotyped. I want to be classified. Suburban home. Yes. So he grew up in a suburban home. Not sure what that's like for Japan because it's so popular. I can't imagine what a smaller home settlement's like because whenever I just think of Japan, I just think of high-rise buildings, everyone in massive blocks, and it's just everywhere. Compared to like a more suburban, rural, smaller town over here. But when I visit Japan, my expectations and what I think will definitely be changed because I will go there at some point. I actually had some sushi before I recorded this podcast, so I think I'll be fine because I can live off sushi. Hopefully, if I go to Japan. But his father was a top manager in a financial institution. And Kato's grades were considered to be exceptional in elementary school, and he was a top track athlete. He entered Tsukuda Junior High School, where he became president of the tennis club. However, Kato started to behave violently at home after enrolling at Aomori High School. No, hang on. I want to know how that's actually said. I'm probably butchering that.
You don't want to do a me and butcher everything.
Aomori. Well, that's one thing as well, and with translate, is that, well, the way Japanese speak and say words, in that, this is becoming a whole different lesson. You know how the way things are pronounced? How do I say it? You know how certain accents where the word might go down then up?
Yeah.
Or the way it's pronounced?
Yeah.
So that's the thing with Japanese I've learned, is that the way they pronounce some words and how it's... I don't know what the right term is, but there's no sort of like... Some words aren't just like plain said in one. There's like this rise up when the word is said. Awamori or however and whatnot. So... yes, he enrolled at Aomori High School, which is an elite high school. There, his class academic ranking fell to 300 of 360 students, and he failed entrance examinations for the prestigious Hokkaido University, eventually training as an auto mechanic at Nakanihon Automotive College. Kato was hired as a temporary worker at an auto parts factory in Shizuoka Prefecture, though he had been recently told that his job was to be cut at the end of June. Kato reportedly did not get along with his parents and seldom returned home. An interview with Kato's brother revealed that his parents had put immense pressure on both of them to perform and to excel in their studies, ordering them to redo their homework to high standards in order to impress teachers in school, and recalled one incident when Kato was made to eat scraps of food from the floor. Now, I'm assuming that doesn't happen in every family, but when I typed that, I was like, that's the Asian stereotype. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where it's like Asian parents just push their kids to do, and if they don't get like the top grade, they failed. You know what I mean? And I've heard that stereotype.
Is it a stereotype that you see a lot in like TV shows, mostly like American media?
Yeah, but I mean, it happened here, and I thought, oh, maybe that's just one time. But I've always seen it in media where they perceive that Asians tend to do very well, and if they aren't a doctor or they aren't a high, well-off job or doing well on their grades, that they get punished for it, which seems totally nuts. Because over here, people are proud no matter what you do, and even if you don't get the best grades, you could still do well.
It can depend on like your parents, though. Some parents are just like overly strict like that.
Yours weren't like that, though, were they?
They weren't like insanely strict, but they were strict-ish. Like I had a curfew kind of thing. I had to get I had to do well in school. They weren't asking for like A's all the time, but they wanted me to not fail. Like they wanted me to do well. But bear in mind, my mum's a teacher, so she knows like the behind everything else with it when it comes to like mark schemes. So like I remember when it came to my GCSE results, I didn't do as well as I was predicted, and my mum basically kind of knew that was going to happen, only because a few days before results day, teachers were told that the education board had changed the mark scheme on all the exams, so they made it harder. Basically, you had to get more marks on these exams to get certain grades than it was originally, and they changed that during the marking process of everyone's GCSEs, but it obviously wasn't told to the kids when they were doing their exams. So when it came to my results day, I was like, but I was predicted like B's and all this, like I was predicted B's and almost everything, and my mum just went, yeah, basically, and they normally tell you how many marks you got on each exam on your results, and my mum looked at my results, looked at what my marks were, and she was like, if they hadn't changed the mark scheme, you would have gotten those predicted grades. They just changed it. They just told us that they changed it the other day. They changed it to a stupid thing and made it harder, and they just didn't tell anyone. And I mean, like, oh, it was basically I was going to get higher than what I actually got, which my mum wasn't angry about my results. I was annoyed at my results, but she wasn't, because she knew that it wasn't my fault.
I mean, you had insider scoop. Your mum was a teacher. How unfair is that? I didn't get that. But
like, she told me that obviously when I got home, and I was like, I went straight from getting my results, went to go pick them up, then went straight to the college that I was going to like enroll and put all my stuff in for it. And obviously because they changed the mark scheme, I couldn't go on the course that I actually wanted to go on, so I had to go on like the more lower down one of that lower down version of it, which annoyed me. And when I came back home, my mum was like, oh my god, congratulations on your results. And I just went, I didn't do that good. And I showed her, and she was like, yeah, basically, if you would have... She was like, yeah, they hadn't changed the mark scheme, you would have gotten those predicted grades. It's not your fault. It's their fault. And because my mum was so annoyed with the education system for that entire thing. She was so fucking annoyed. But they were kind of strict-ish. Like... They wanted me to be a prefect. They wanted me to be head girl. They wanted me to do all these things, and I was like, no. But some parents are that strict, though. There were people who I went to school with whose parents were that strict, and they weren't Asian.
Yeah.
But they were that strict. They were like, no, you have to get the high grades. No, you have to do this. No, you have to do all your homework to a high standard. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do extracurricular activities because this looks good on your CV. This looks good on your uni application, all this kind of stuff. That they were like that, which is insane to me.
I don't know if it was true, but I do remember my mate Warren said, and he's from around Bristol, he said that, I swear it was when he was in school, there was a Asian kid who was in one of the exams that they were doing, and he just wasn't doing well. And then he knew that, and then he just stuck 2 pencils up his nose, then slammed his head on the table. So the pencils went up his nose, and I think he got taken away and died.
I'm gonna guess that is not true.
I don't know. I remember him saying something like that.
That sounds like something that someone's passed a rumor down throughout the years.
No, but he said it was someone in the exam room when he was doing it. And then they had to be taken out of the exam hall for that.
To me, that sounds like a Family Guy level offensive stereotype joke. That's what that sounds like.
I might have been hearing it wrong like that, but when it comes to grades, I've always had the mindset with anyone is that you're good at what you're good at. No matter what your grades are, people always specialize and just excel in subjects. There's some people who are great at loads of things in general. But people shouldn't get it down, because if they do well in one thing, that's what you're good at. Life gives you the ability to be great at something else, and don't be put down if someone else got so many better grades all round. Ask them to do well in the thing you excel in. They might not even have a chance. They might not be great. I mean, in terms of my grades, I'm not going to say them all, but I remember when I did my advanced hires, I did 3 advanced hires, and the only one I got an A in was music. And I sat there and I went, well, I knew I would do well in music because that's what I excel in. Music is me. And the other ones, yeah, I like computer science, didn't do too well. In history, yeah, I like that and did all right. But it was clear that I was just good at music, and that's what I'd excel in. And granted, other people might have gotten all A's in the advanced hires, but like, could any of them do music and get an A? Probably not. So I could sit here and go, I'm not a failure. I didn't do as well in all my grades, but I did well in one, and that's clearly what I'm good at. So that's the way I look at it, you know? And no matter what you're doing in life right now, you're doing something that maybe not anyone could do. You know, you do photography for gigs, Lauren, and how many people can sit there and go, oh, I can do that? No, they can't, you know? So I feel like when parents are so harsh for everyone to do so well, I can understand that, but it should be, you know, your child or whatnot will excel in one thing, and it's always good when parents realize that and go, well, I see he's got potential in this, and that's why you get famous sports people or famous people in this, because they don't have to be great at everything. If you can succeed and excel in one thing, then it's clear that that's maybe what your path in life is going to be. But also, they were strict.
One thing I want to say as well, because it is GCSE result, it is results day time. I'm going to say this now because everyone bullshits when you're in school and you're doing your exams. Everyone fucking bullshits about this, and I'm going to tell you as someone who is 26 years old, no one gives a flying fuck about your GCSEs when it comes to getting a job. Like, if you want to go to uni, you will need them. After that, no one gives a shit. No one checks it. No one checks. You are fine. It is okay. Well, most companies care more about your experience and what you know rather than an exam that you sat when you were 15, 16. They don't give a shit.
There's only a few. There's only like a few jobs where you might need a specific qualification or like some form of, I don't know how to, like, you know, some, like if you go into a trade and you need to have this qualification grade in something to be able to do that trade, if that makes sense, or something like that. And maybe it's the same for, like, maybe not for photography, I don't know, but I know for some trades you need to have this certificate for something to then be able to do said.
My point is that they don't check. They don't check that shit. At least from what I've experienced, they will look at what you've got on your CV, what your grades were, but they're not going to go, can you bring me your results day certificate, please? They don't fucking do that. No one does that.
No, basic bare bones GCSEs, but like for some things you might need a truck driving license, or you might need, like if you're doing childcare, you might need a childcare thing.
Which, to be fair, and if you are going to do that, you most likely go into college and uni for it anyway. And once you get past college and uni, you got those qualifications that you fucking needed. That's all you need. It's fine. You're sorted. Don't panic about getting. Like, don't panic about some exams you can resit as well. That's one thing people forget. Some exams you can resit. I resat my maths. It's fine.
I resat maths. Not 5 maths. I failed the first time, so I resat it again.
And it's fine. Like, it does not bother me in the fucking slightest. Like, genuinely. Because most people don't remember things from, like, last year. No one's expecting you to remember basic science. Well, no one's expecting you to remember science questions from GCSE, like, chemistry, are they? No, they're not gonna. Like, they're not going to expect you to know shit, to remember every single thing you learned in school, because unless you are doing it multiple times, and you're doing it over many, 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 many years, and that is something you want to go into, no one's expecting you to remember shit. You will be fine.
Lauren, how could you not know Pythagoras' theorem right now? Hang your head in shame that you don't know.
Science. I was one of those people who was good.
Well, that's maths, but never mind.
I was good. No, what I mean, like, I was terrible at science, I was terrible at maths, I was terrible at statistics, I was good at English, media and art, so basically anything that was creative, I was good at.
Well, that's what you do now, so exactly. You know what I mean?
And then when I went to college, that's where I got a C in media in high school, and then I went to do it in college, and I got A stars for, like, the rest of college. dude, it's fine. And also, one thing, if you go into college, for a lot of courses, it's mostly coursework anyway. So it's mostly about you actually physically doing something and creating something, and that is within that. It's more about your coursework and all this kind of stuff rather than your exams. So you sitting down in an exam hall, so don't matter afterwards. You're mostly going to be doing coursework anyway, which is way fucking easier. I preferred coursework. As soon as they told us that they got rid of the media exam with college, and I was like, fuck yes, because I knew I could actually prove myself more. And also, one thing as well, because I had this, because obviously I went to college to do media, we had a guy from the BBC come in to talk to us about, working at the BBC possibly, all this kind of stuff. And
I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it.
But it's like a producer from the BBC that was coming in to talk to us about like media and everything, and our tutor at the time was trying to get us to all like sign up to UCAS and go to uni and all this kind of shit. And I was not interested. I'd never wanted to go to uni. I wanted to do an apprenticeship and learn and work at the same time. And this guy was like, "Oh yeah, best route, do an apprenticeship or just go straight into working. We care more about you actually being hands-on and actually wanting to do it than fucking grades. No one cares about grades. We don't care about grades. You getting an A is not the thing that's going to make us want to hire you." And then this teacher was looking at him going, can you encourage them to go to uni? He was like, you don't need to. It's a waste of money and a waste of time. Just go straight into creating things. Have your portfolio built up. We will be more attracted to your portfolio than your fucking grades. And she was so annoyed. I was sat there going, this is great. This is basically everything that I've been saying.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the guy at the BBC came to tell you and show you how to hide stuff under the carpet, and I'm pretty sure the BBC were probably more interested than the only thing they cared about is if you knew how to do explicit and dirty things, so they could cover up and shove under the carpet. Probably.
I mean, I was 18 at that point, so I think I might have been a bit too old.
I didn't want to say it, but I was just like, the BBC just fucking, they have people with apprenticeships and they like to get people to join, but the shady stuff that happens, it's like, I don't want to know what goes in them fucking offices, man, or what the hell goes on there. But
I never did an apprenticeship.
He had strict parents, and as well, another neighbour actually recounted an incident where Kato's parents forced him to stand outside for hours in deep cold snow during winters. Previous online postings before his announcement of the attack contained sharp criticism of his upbringing. Deeply in debt and believing that his family had given up on him, Kato unsuccessfully attempted suicide in 2006 by ramming his car into a wall. I don't know how you'd kill yourself doing that. You'd have to do it pretty hard and actually get crushed by the car.
Also, don't have seatbelt on.
Yeah, that's actually why you should always wear your seatbelt.
Yeah, that's how he probably would have done it.
Yeah, if you're not wearing your seatbelt, you are absolutely stupid. It's there for a safe reason. And I can't remember what it was. Was it recently where I saw a video on Facebook of, I think it was an old advert, in like the 2000s something, of someone not wearing their seatbelt. And in the advert, the car crashes, and then the kid in the back hadn't worn a seatbelt, and then as the car crashes, you see just blood splattered all over his face from his mum, who'd obviously been in the front driving the car, and the blood from her brain just splattered all over his back and all over his face, and it was just like, that was an advert that went on the telly. And if that didn't scare people, then I watched that thinking, holy fuck, they allowed that on the TV. It's quite grim.
Oh yeah, do you remember all those adverts when you were a kid and it used to be like so gruesome and so creepy? Basically they scared you to not make.
Yeah, you're talking about the one about the kid and the broken leg.
Oh, that thing was so fucking horrible. Oh.
Yeah, the one where he couldn't play football anymore.
Yeah.
Because he didn't look which way when crossing the street. Then it just shows you like this, Tim Burton-esque style in a way.
Yeah, it was so fucking creepy.
And then it's like he can't play football anymore because his leg got fucked. And it was just like, I remember growing up thinking, oh god, I don't want to be able to not be able to kick a ball. That's horrible. But yeah, He attempted suicide in 2006 by ramming his car into a wall. 3 days before the attack on June 5th, Kato accused people at his workplace of hiding his work clothes and left the premises immediately afterwards. Now, about this is weird. So, I found stuff about this here. So, he basically on the Sunday, he became furious after his work clothes were missing at the factory he worked at. Earlier in that month, a colleague had said. So, my work clothes are missing. He apparently had shouted that at the Higashi Fuji factory of Kanto Auto Works Limited at around 6 a.m. on Thursday, shortly before his shift began, prompting a colleague to alert their boss. He had disappeared by the time the boss arrived at the scene. Later in the day, he put up several messages on a mobile phone site complaining about what happened at the factory. Quotation marks, as one of the entries reads, "When I went to my workplace, I found my work clothes were missing. Does it mean I should quit my job? I guess the company is happy about expelling me." Investigators suspect that Kato thought he had been dismissed from the factory. Kato registered with the temporary employment agency. Agency was dispatched to the factory on November 14th, according to the agency, and Naoki Hashimoto, 54, the General Affairs and Public Relations Manager at Kanto Auto Works. During a job interview, Kato had said he had previously been engaged in assembling automobiles while working at another automobile company as a temporary employee. He worked hard at Kanto Auto and never took time off except his regular days off, according to colleagues. He earned about 200k yen a month. His contract with the automobile firm was to expire on March 31st, but it was extended by 1 year. The Kanto Auto Works planned to reduce the number of its temporary workers from 200 to 50 by the end of the month. However, the employment agency had told him that he could continue to work in the factory. Kato lived in a one-room apartment that the employment agency rents. He was spotted several times by neighbours coming home at around 11 p.m, and neighbours say he had almost no contact with them and had no trouble with other residents. So yeah, he got really mad when his work clothes went missing. I feel like it was just a little joke that someone played, but he was just like, he apparently believed at this point he was going to lose his job, though this is not actually really the case, and it may have triggered the attack of why he was annoyed.
I also overthink and overreact quite a fair bit, but I don't do that.
No, I mean, Kato apparently posted messages from his mobile phone to a website called Extreme Exchange Revised, revealing his intentions through his final message 20 minutes before the attack. A police official stated the first message read, "I will kill people in Akihabara." Other messages he alleged to have posted included, "If only I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't have quit work. Bullshit. I would have never become addicted to my mobile phone. Anybody with hope couldn't possibly understand how I feel. And I don't have a single friend and I won't in the future. I'll be ignored because I'm ugly. I'm ugly. I'm lower than trash because at least trash gets recycled." The messages also refer to a stabbing spree in Tsuchira. Oh my god, TS! I cannot pronounce a TS. Tsuchira. Oh, Tetsura. Based on Kato's messages, commentators refer to the incident as another case of Japan's hikikomori becoming more violent and suicidal. Later messages revealed Kato's plans to use a vehicle until it became inoperable, and then to use a knife to continue the attack on foot. He waited for Chudori to close at noon to vehicular traffic before commencing the attack. Now, in terms of other text messages that were posted online, on Sunday, June 8th, text on a killing. I've got a text with times here. So, 5:21, sleepy, will drive into the crowd, and if the car becomes useless, I will use a knife. Goodbye, everyone. 5:34, I can't get over this headache. 5:35, rain is forecast. Bad. 6:02, I'm used to playing the role of good man. Everybody's so easily deceived. 6:03, I am capable of having friends. 6:10, it seems the road I plan to take is blocked. After all, everything is against me. 6:31, the time has come. Let's go. 6:39, it seems I'll be battling against my headache. 6:49, ... against rain. 6:50, ... against time. It's 7:30, what a dreadful rain, even though I prepared everything perfectly. 7:47, even though the scale is small, I'll do what I decided to in the rain. 9:48, into Kanagawa and having a rest. Things are going well at the moment. 10:53, awful jam. Will I be in time? 11:07, Shibuya. It's awful. 11:45, reached Akihabara. It's the day of quotation marks pedestrians paradise, isn't it? Just minutes left now. So he's posting this stuff, updating at the time of what was going to happen. And that's at 11:45, and this event occurred at around 12:33. So he was documenting it. And the way he's being like, oh God, the rain's against me, everyone's against me. But it's like, you're away to a fucking massacre, and he's complaining about rain, the time, he's got a headache. What?
He seems really, he seems really fucking annoying. He seems like the most annoying person on the fucking planet.
Well, if you look at a photo of him, he does look like an annoying little cunt. Like, I'm not stereotyping all Japanese people, but he just looks like an annoying little bitch.
Just like, it's the way he's just whining. It's the way he's whining, and his excuses for what he's about to do is just fucking pathetic. But well, there's never a good excuse for what he's about to do. No one's got a good excuse for something like this. But the fact that he's like, oh, it's raining, everything's against me, and I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up, you annoying dickhead. No wonder he had no friends. I get sick of that shit. Fuck me. Touch grass.
Yeah, so he actually recorded his thoughts on a blog. As I just mentioned, so it was on that blogging site, he recorded it all. I mean, friends of him described him as a typical Akihabara type, a cartoonist of reasonable talent who would, quotation marks, lose himself for hours in cyberspace. When he went to karaoke, he would select the theme tunes of TV animations. When it came to women, he would declare that he was, quotation marks, only interested in two-dimensional girlfriends. Now, from what's being described here, people are kind of describing him as probably a basement dweller, someone who has what likes girlfriends who are not real, with anime characters, something like that. Now, not all people are like that. I hate that when people commit crimes, and they are people who play video games and all this stuff, because people who don't like anime or this stuff go, oh, he's one of them. All those people who just sit and play video games, watch anime, hide away and don't touch grass. And I'm like, I'm one of those people, but I'm not a fucking psycho idiot like that. You know what I mean? And I hate that the people who are that, the very bad basement dwellers, get lumped in with the people who are casual and like that, and then it's just like, oh God. Because sometimes I say I like stuff, and then I'm worried that someone's going to go, oh, you're one of them. And I'm like, well, no.
Clearly this guy is just a miserable, annoying pain in the ass, whereas other people who are interested in that kind of stuff, you meet them at Comic-Con, you meet them at events like stuff like that, and they are the happiest and loveliest people that you can ever come across. He is not one of them. He does not fit into that category in the fucking slightest. He does not fit in with the people who also like that kind of stuff, because he's a annoying twat.
Yeah, well, a police investigation into this, this says here Japan's worst killing rampage. Believe the attacks were planned because in the days before the spree, Kato made several visits to Akihabara to establish its suitability for his ambitions. In quotation marks, he told police, I knew there would be lots of people and I decided this some days ago. And yeah, as I mentioned, the first comments which appeared on the internet about 5:21 a.m. on the day of the violence was the first one I said. I will kill people in Akihabara, have a vehicle crash, the vehicle was useless, I was a knife. I had a running commentary that tracks about 100 kilometers, 60 miles drive from Susanoo in the foothills of Mount Fuji. The message ends, just mentioned before the attack, it's time, I'm going, read the final comment. So people who were online would have seen this and seen these comments coming through. I must have been fucking, like, just before it happening, seeing it's time, I'm going, and you're thinking, oh shit, this guy's serious. Like, he's blogged this, and you're, like, seeing it. And you could be... I'm assuming the website is more of a Japanese user-based one, but if it was one that, like, other people in the world used, imagine that. Like, you're somewhere in the world just checking this blog, and you just see some guy from Japan writing all this stuff, and you think, oh shit, a massacre's about to happen in Japan. Holy fuck. But I think it was probably a more Japanese-used website than just having users from the West.
The thing is, you'll have people who are probably trying to learn Japanese or are learning Japanese who can speak it from all across the world, and they're just like, oh, I'll go on this blog website because then I can help myself learn more, I can interact with more people. And there's probably people who are literally reading that from Australia or Scotland and literally just reading that and going, what the fuck? And bear in mind, they're reading it in a different time zone as well.
Yeah, well, according to work colleagues, he would become deeply immersed in online forums. He appeared to have shared with tens of thousands of young Japanese men a passion for Akihabara and its maze of shops that helped to create Japan's otaku stereotype. Originally, otaku referred to a subclass of youth culture that encompassed manga, comics, video games, and animated pornography. But recently, it has gone mainstream, and financial analysis tracked the spending habits of its participants. But on the Sunday, the facade of normality around Mr. Kao slipped. At about 8:45 a.m., he arrived at a colleague's house to give him a bag of DVDs and video games, leaving with the message, I'm going to deliver this truck to Akihabara. I'm going to stop there briefly, and then I'm flying east. Now, I'm looking at it on the map. Japan is a hustle bustle. There's billboards. There is scantily clad anime girls on this. There's anime girls everywhere. Oh my god. What's the cleavage like? Can't really see the cleavage, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to... Oh, that's Space Invader. Compared to here, well, from where I am at least, I don't know what it's like in Manchester, if there's like billboards plastered like everywhere. You know, like Times Square, where you just see billboards, advertisements everywhere. That's just not a thing. Nowhere near where I am. Not in Glasgow, not in Edinburgh. So whenever I look at places on a map where there's billboards on the sides of buildings everywhere advertising shit.
They're not like everywhere, but there's more of them appearing.
Yeah, but like up here they have that UK style billboards where it's like on you know the ones you get like maybe a roundabout where it's in like round in a like a silver square.
Yep.
And then there's like a paper thing in it. And there's maybe light shining on it. That's like the billboards we have.
Oh, I was definitely more TV screens that are over like bridges now. Like we've gotten to that level.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, all the billboards in Manchester. Once you go over the Mancunian...
Oh, the TV ones. Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, we've got more of those ones now.
I'm looking at them now. There's one for Pretty Little Things. It's at the side. It's like My dress doesn't mean yes by Pretty Little Things.
There's one on the side of Victoria Warehouse, which if you're not from Manchester or you're not from the UK, you might not know, but Victoria Warehouse, they have a hotel, but it's also a very popular music venue. Like... And it's next to United's ground, and on the side...
Trafford Road?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's this massive TV one at the side of a building.
It used to be like a Manchester mural on there, or they used to have like big posters down there for things coming up. Now it's just a massive TV screen.
We have, I think, one similar to this one that's in front of... somewhere, like one that's more... vertical. We have one of them, I think in Aberdeen, but most of them are paper ones for us that are in the square. And we do have some TV. Well, there's like a TV kind of one on the way into Aberdeen, but not as much as in Japan. You know what I mean? Compared to the UK, where you don't have them like plastered like the side of a building having so many.
London,
like this building here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because it's also got those ones, you know, the ones that stick out of a building, like a sign, like a barbershop pole, where it comes out and there's like that.
Yeah, I know what you're on about.
So, you know, it's just hustle and bustle everywhere. And, you know, I mean, we could drive in Japan because they drive on the bloody same side of the road as we do. But it's just so hustle and bustle. There's people everywhere. I wonder, actually, no. Oh, I could go to 2009. I sadly cannot go to 2008. So I can't... December 2009 is the closest I can get to what it looked like there and then.
Yeah.
They're advertising Windows 7.
You probably won't be allowed to look at 2008, to be completely honest.
No, I think no, because the coverage is gone from that.
Yeah.
Or they maybe didn't cover it at the time. But yeah, that is...
They're probably told right afterwards, like, if you're gonna go around there to do the Google Maps thing, just ignore it.
Yeah. See, this is another thing I'm finding interesting as I'm going through here. Because Japan has so many fucking billboards of stuff, that as you go through the time, what's being advertised just kind of makes you feel old. Well, not that I can see all, but like they were just advertising Windows 7. That shit was like fresh. Oh my god, they have massive anime characters on the side. This is sick. I wish we...
That's having his nostalgia moment, guys.
Duty free. Is our flag even on there? No, I don't know if it is. Yeah, like what the hell is this? The animation, the Comic Con Assistants, Blu-ray, just professional sportsman magazine. There's a gorilla. This is nuts because there's like massive products and stuff aren't that really advertised over here on the sides of buildings. I'd be nuts if I went into Aberdeen and then it's buses. That's where our advertisements come in, is on the side of a fucking bus compared to buildings. But imagine if you just went in to the middle of fucking somewhere, like in Manchester, or I went into Aberdeen, and just like your favorite new move, like video game, or I don't know, your favorite like TV show character is just plastered massively on the side of a building, I'd be like, what? Because I just suspect it on a little thing on the side of a bus.
See, we don't even.
But
we don't even get our bus ones updated anymore. Like our bus.
Do you not?
No, do they like we still see like movie posters where it'll be like, this will be released in July 2023. You're just like, mate, like they don't even update anymore. Like they're faded. They don't give a shit anymore. They're too busy focused on the screens.
Wow, I'm trying to look at them now. Trolls World Tour.
Carry on with the case before we die.
Yeah, no, I don't know why TLC. But no, we're going to talk about the incident now. Now, I've found as much as I can about this, but you kind of get the idea. There might be more from... But it's quite hard to find some stuff. So, what happened? So, on June 8th, 2008, Tomohiro Kato drove a 5-ton rented Isuzu, I can't say that, elf truck. Isuzu. This would help if I could bloody Isuzu. Oh, come on, man. Isuzu. That's how you say it. Isuzu elf truck into a crowd at the crossing of Kanda Myojin-dori and Shodori streets in Akihabara, Chiyoda in Tokyo. So he just took his truck, and there was obviously people crossing, because I'm looking at it on Google Maps, and you know how it's a massive, massive square crossing, and people were crossing, and he just took his truck and just did that thing. Like, if you've ever played GTA and you've done, just fucking rammed people over. Just like senselessly ran people over. And while Kanda Myojin was open to vehicular traffic, the other one, Shodori, was closed for the convenience of shopping pedestrians, a practice observed during the Sundays and holidays. So they'd obviously, one road had been open to vehicle traffic, but they closed the other one for the convenience of people being able to shop on Sundays and holidays. There's a lot of people. And I don't know if they have that in Manchester, where some roads might be closed off to help people shop, and it makes it easier because so many traffic and people, you don't want people getting run over. But it was at 12:33 that Kato hit 5 people with a truck after ignoring a red light, purposely ignoring it, and some people actually had gathered to care for the victims because he just rammed them over and crashed the truck. Then Kato climbed out of the truck, and then, as mentioned previously, he just had the dagger on him and just went to town and stabbed at least 12 people, according to a witness, while screaming. It was at this point that police chased Kato and cornered him in a narrow alley, and a police officer pointed a gun at him. He dropped the knife and was held down by the police at 12:35, about 170 meters, 600 feet away from the truck. So yeah, he was arrested and had blood on his face at the time. Yeah, a male witness told the national broadcaster that he was screaming as he was stabbing people at random. Amateur video showed police overpowering the bloody suspect. The attack paralyzed the district known as Electric Town. Amateur video taken 5 minutes after the rampage showed shoppers helping victims and a man screaming, "Ambulance, ambulance." At least 17 ambulances rushed to the scene, and rescue workers feverishly tended to the victims in the blood-pooled street. As night fell, a bouquet of flowers, bottles of green tea, and incense sticks had been placed at the site. Japanese crime rate is low compared to other industrial nations, and Tokyo, with 12.7 million people, probably more now, is considered relatively safe, but stabbings, once rare in the country, have become more frequent in recent years. In March, one person was stabbed to death, and at least 7 others were hurt by a man with 2 knives outside a shopping mall in eastern Japan. In January, a 16-year-old boy attacked 5 people in a shopping area, injuring 2. So it seems that stabbings are becoming more of a popular and increasing thing in Japan. It's got a massive population, so many people going about. So Kato knew exactly what the fuck he was doing with the truck. Just vehicular homicide. Like, just, I'm going to rent a truck, and he knows how busy it was going to be, and just plow through people, and then I can just picture it in my head, like him screaming and just stabbing senseless. Like, you know, like people, when people fight in the war, like in World War II, where they were just running and gunning and going, ah! Just, you know, I can just imagine him out of the truck just screaming and slashing, just like crazy, demonic, manic, and these people just like dropping to the floor, and there's blood everywhere, and 17 ambulances. That's fucking a lot. Like, I know it's a more populated country, but when there's 17 ambulances to the scene, and obviously they have to put up many of the green covers in the images you see, to hide the stuff, because there'll be bodies dropping left, right, and centre. And folk are just shopping, and you can imagine people running everywhere, absolutely screaming. I'm trying to see if I can find more, because that's all which is kind of given. Let's see. Because that's the thing. No official refused to comment further. Japanese media said the posting inspected a disturbed man raging against society and vowing to get revenge by enlisting his fury in the streets of Akihabara. Yeah, so Japanese media didn't release much, but, you know, just from the images that you see, and that images of him in CCTV must have been in a shot before that. But you actually can see, there is an image of him with a bloodied face while the police are detaining him and shove him into the back of the car. He's got blood all down the side. So I'm surprised that was actually shown. But it's not good how you can see an image of just bodies on the floor and just public members having to... And it's one of those things as well where the crowd's separated. So, like, they've all gone to the side of the street and there's just bodies on the ground and people are coming over to help. And it feels so bad because you know when, like, something happens and a crowd just forms and everyone's, like, watching with intent.
Yeah.
Or, like, watching scarcely from their eyes. That's what it looks like in here, you know.
Yeah, and that's one of those, like, things, you know, you see that kind of... When you see that in public, like, the big crowd around something, it makes people want to go over and see what's happening and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Which obviously can be a bit of a hit or miss sometimes.
And you can imagine it, though, like, people going, what the fuck's going on? And someone's like, some guy's just ran the truck and he's gone on a stabbing spree. And they managed to take him down and take him away. Now, for the victims, all victims' names have been released, so at least 17 ambulances, as I said, rushed to the scene as passers-by tried to aid the victims. 5 of the victims reportedly died at the scene. It was initially reported 2 people died from the attack, and during the day the death toll increased to 7. Later it was determined through autopsies that 3 victims had died as a result of being hit by the truck, while the other 4 were fatally stabbed. According to police and hospital officials, 6 of the 7 victims who were killed were men, including Kazunori Fujino and his friend Takahiro Kamaguchi, who were both 19. Katsuhiko Nakamura, 74. Naoki Miyamoto, 31, Mitsuru Matsui, who's 33, and Kazuhiro Koiwa, 47, and one woman, Mai Muto, 21, was also killed. Communication records show that Mai Muto probably made an emergency call to the police from her mobile phone, though she left no message. Later that day, a makeshift memorial was created by the public, as I said, as they laid them down in the street. Now, that memorial is probably not there because they're in the middle of a crosswalk, so there's maybe a memorial at the side. I couldn't see anything on the maps which showed anything that's still there in terms of a memorial. I don't know how Japanese people do it, but I know over here flowers get laid down and they usually are there forever, and you still see memorials, but this happened in the middle of the street, so they can't really have a memorial there, which is sad.
Yeah, like the Manchester
how they
Arena,
can't have one.
Manchester Arena attack, they've got a memorial in Victoria Station.
Yeah. So maybe there's a memorial somewhere close to here. I do not know. But as for the investigation, Kato was arrested for attempted murder after a police officer spotted him stabbing a woman at the time. On June 10th, the police sent him to Tokyo District Prosecutor's Office, and on the 20th of June, the police arrested him again on a suspicion of murder of the 7 victims. That same day, the prosecutor's office withheld action on him for the first suspicion. Now, this article here, though, does say that no charges had been filed against Kato, because under Japanese law, a suspect can be held by police for 2 days and then must be transferred to the custody of prosecutors, who have 20 days to either file charges or release the suspect. But while being positive about his capacity to be held criminally liable, the prosecutor's office decided by the 20th of June to demand that Kato's detention for a psychiatric test to be authorized by the Tokyo District Court. Kato erased all contacts and communication records from his mobile phone just prior to the attack, the purpose of which he confessed was to avoid annoying those around him. Kato later said that he posted the online message hoping the police would take notice and stop him.
What?
I mean, I don't understand that. He said that he posted the messages to be like, oh, I hope the police see them, you know? That's weird.
Bullshit. I call bullshit.
You know, I've known cases where people post their intent on, you know, social media, and we did it with the Randy Stair case where the videos were made on YouTube, the way supermarket shooting and stuff. People who do that, they don't put it up there in the hope someone sees it and stops them. No. It's some psycho way of documenting it. So him saying, oh, he put it up there so he hoped the police would take notice and stop him. I mean, the police aren't monitoring sites all the time. I know the FBI and places might be, but like people might not have been checking the sites at that time. And no one's, you know, maybe there's people out there trying to see this stuff on the daily, but I don't think folk were just, and the police were avidly thinking, fuck, this guy might do something, we'll need to check his social media account and stuff. It's only if the stuff was posted and then, like, he posted hints and stuff, because I remember, I'm not specifically sure, but I've read stuff about in the US where the FBI stuff would call to people's houses because they would quote stuff from movies or something, and I remember a few times, I can't remember what it was, but someone quoted something from a show or a movie and didn't say what it was and posted it to their Twitter or whatnot, and people found it on Twitter and went, well, that line's suspicious, that's worrying, and then went to the house, and it was like, oh shit. But I don't know, because he did it on the day and posted it, you know, that's hardly any time for them to see it. If he posted stuff like a week before and said, I'm going to do it on this date, then the police might have seen it and had pre-warning, but he's done it on the day.
Jesus.
The weapon Kato used in the attack reportedly purchased 2 days before a military supply shop in Fukuyu at about 12:40. Kato spent about 20 minutes in the store purchasing a telescopic baton and a pair of leather gloves while the store's CCTV captured him conversing with the salesman and demonstrating stabbing motions. So that's where the CCTV comes in. Okay, it is that CCTV. But yeah, imagine looking at the CCTV and he's conversing with the salesman and demonstrating stabbing motions. That's a bit concerning. Kato came to Akihabara the day before the attack to sell his personal computer and some software to raise money to rent the truck. So, in terms of the reaction and the consequences, so the Akihabara attack made global headlines and sent shockwaves across Japan, shaking public confidence in what is traditionally considered a society safe from violent crime. The Japanese government said it would review laws regulating knives, while the Tokyo Metropolitan Public Safety Commission announced that the 35-year-old practice of closing chudori on Sundays and holidays was to be suspended until safety measures were reviewed. The practice of closing traffic on Sundays resumed in 2011. On the 17th of June 2008, convicted serial killer Tsutomu Miyazaki was executed by hanging. We covered him. And this was suspected to be a reaction to Kato's massacre. The massacre also sparked many conversations in Japanese blogs when it was discovered that 2 Ustream users had broadcast live video streams of the tragedy, attracting a viewership estimated between 1,000 and 3,000 people. No known recording has been saved of the videos, although the event has been written about in many Japanese blogs and online IT magazines. The Japanese media labeled the attack as a growing epidemic of Kyariru, acts of rage committed by Tokyo's alienated youth. Others labeled the otaku culture as the answer for its negative stereotype of compulsive antisocial behaviour. Now, I imagine this would send shockwaves for people just going out and doing shopping at the weekends. People must have been scared to go out.
Oh,
and
yeah. You wouldn't want to
it resumed 2011, so it happened in 2008, 2009, 10. It took them about 3 years before the practice of closing traffic on Sundays resumed again. So 3 years they were like, no, the idea of closing traffic on Sundays, we can't have that. It took them 3 years before they felt, right, we could do this again. That's a long time.
Yep.
Now, as well, actually, it was around this time that Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriot in Tokyo had come out. So Konami actually cancelled 3 launch events of Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots in Tokyo with the safety of participants in mind as a result of the attack, which is a smart thing to do. Now, I was surprised about this because I thought that's good for Konami to do, because events for launch events are massive. Like, gaming launch events are huge. So when the game came out and this was happening, Konami did the right thing to go, we will cancel these launch events. And now it's annoying for the people who loved Metal Gear Solid at the time and wanted to try it, but like, they couldn't fear a stabbing happening at a launch event when loads of people are going to be gathered. So they cancelled them. And elsewhere, the Super Sentai series airing at the time of the attack, Engine Sentai Go Onga, featured transforming daggers as part of the hero's standard personal sidearms called Switch Funshaken Rocket Daggers. After the attack, which occurred the day immediately after the daggers made their debut in the series, both Bandai, the company that makes the toy version of the weapons, and Toei, the company that produces the TV series, changed their names to Switch Funshaken Rocket Boosters and redesigned them as swords rather than daggers out of respect for the victims of the attack and to lessen any trauma in the 6 to 8-year-old audience that Tokusatsu franchise regularly targets. So that was good on them. You know, the day immediately after they had daggers and they went, no, we're going to change that. Bandai did it for the toys, and the Toei who makes the series like, no, we'll change up the boosters because kids will watch this and they'll see the news, and then the daggers, so they changed them to swords rather than daggers out of respect, which is very good. That was quick for them to do that. Kato's parents gave an apology to the victims in a television interview after the massacre, and as of 2010, Kato's father had resigned from his job and was living in seclusion in Aomori, while his mother had been hospitalized for mental health reasons. In April 2014, Kato's 28-year-old brother committed suicide, having previously indicated that he was unable to live with the scars and shame resulting from the massacre. As for conviction and execution, as I mentioned, he's not alive. On the 24th of March 2011, Kato was sentenced to death by the Tokyo District Court after it found him fully responsible for the attack. In September 2012, the Tokyo High Court upheld the death penalty on appeal, and Kato expressed remorse over the massacre, stating that he, quotation marks, would like to apologize to those who passed away, the injured, and their families. Upon entering a guilty plea, he said he, quotation marks, knew he was the culprit, though he had no memory of some parts of the incident. The Supreme Court of Japan upheld the death penalty on the 2nd of February 2015. Kato's death sentence was subsequently finalized, and he was held on death row until he was executed by hanging at the Tokyo Detention House on the morning of the 26th of July 2022. Now, in terms of related or similar events, the stabbings occurred exactly 7 years after the Ikeda school massacre, which I recently just covered, where 8 elementary school students were killed by Mamoru Takuma. 2008 had already seen another random knife killing by Masahiro Kanagawa, though on a smaller scale. Prime Minister Yasuo Fukuda, who visited the site a week after the massacre to offer prayers to the victims, said that he is, quotation marks, is worried that similar cases occur about 10 times a year in Japan. According to the National Police Agency, 67 similar random attacks had taken place between 1998 and 2007. It was reported that Kato's massacre was, quotation marks, the worst case of its kind since World War II in terms of the number of deaths. A few days after the attack, police arrested several people who stated their intention to commit copycat killings elsewhere in Japan, including one case who made his intentions known to popular message board 2channel. On the 22nd of June, 3 women were injured by a female attacker in Osaka Station. A 38-year-old woman later confessed to attacking 2 of the victims with a razor. A 19-year-old man who made an internet threat to go on a 15th of June stabbing spree at Tokyo Disney Resort was arrested by police. Between 8 to 23 people were arrested and 5 people warned for making threatening messages. The 17 people involved in the threats ranged in ages between 13 and 30. On the 26th of June 2008, police overpowered and arrested a man who was found to have a knife in his possession, Akihabara. In May 2019, a stabbing attack in Kawasaki, Kanagawa Prefecture resulted in the death of at least 2 people. So it seems that stabbings and knife attacks are ever increasingly becoming a popular way of serial killers going about crimes in Japan. Japan has so many cases, it's seeming, in more recent years and stuff, of stabbings happening, which is ridiculous. And, as the Yasuo Fukuda, he's worried that similar cases occur about 10 times a year in Japan. So, shootings happen all the time in the US, and it seems that in Japan it's stabbings that are happening every so often. And it's just horrible because in Japan, obviously, I don't know what the laws like for people being able to obtain knives and stuff, but just because of how populated Japan is, stabbings or hearing about them happening in Japan is scary. Because there's a lot of populated cities, a lot of people going about here and there, that, like, with this case, when I read about it, I was like, oh shit, people out doing their shopping, so many people, just prime, as he said, it was prime for him to just target that time on that day, because he knew there were so many people there, and his victim count would be so high. And it's just nuts, And the thing is that, as well, in, like, with this case, there were so many people going about that, like, people trying to rush away, they'll be, like, going into each other. There's nowhere you can really go because there's not much space. You're going into others, you're trying to escape and everyone else is fleeing. It's a whole chaos mess. And it's absolutely horrible. But that is the 2008 Akihabara Massacre. And I probably will cover other Japanese massacres because I mentioned some in this case and in others, and I will definitely delve into them. But yeah, whenever I visit Japan and I visit Tokyo and I end up maybe being in this area, I think it's going to feel very, very eerie inside. For me, at least. Just like being here and going, a fucking stabbing occurred here. And my safety, like, I generally, right, feel like whenever I go to Japan, I'll feel safe. But researching these cases then puts my question of safety into different hands, you know what I mean? Like, I've been abroad, and some places I've gone, maybe I don't feel that safe, but there's a few places that you have in your mind where you think, no, this is like a generalized safe place. I don't think anyone would bad would happen here. You know, there's obviously other places that are known for there being more bad things happening at the time, that when you go there, expect that. But Japan isn't really one of the places where I go there and suspect anything of massive trouble to happen while I'm there, because Japanese people seem very friendly, hustle and bustle, you just get on, you visit all the shops and everything and all the tourist stuff, you know what I mean? But then researching cases about this makes me worried that being out in the public, anything could happen.
Yeah, it'll make you so like scared to go anywhere when stuff like this happens.
Well, considering Japan has a big population and hearing about these massacres, there's so many people going about. Your safety then goes, oh my god, any one of these people could be harboring whatever inside of them, and and it's one of those things where, like, I don't know how to say this, but obviously being from the UK, right? You know yourself when you're walking about, when you pass someone who looks dodgy and you know that's a dodgy person. You know what I mean?
You get a vibe.
But when you go abroad to somewhere you've never been before, you don't know when you're going about who looks like a dodgy person or not, unless they're obviously giving off signs that I'm a dodgy person. Yeah. But like in the UK, you know yourself when you're walking on the street, you look at someone and go, they're definitely dodgy, there's something funny about them. I'm not trying to say that in a bad way, but you know what I mean. You get the vibes or the way they dress, you go, yeah, that person's, Yeah. But in Japan, I'd have no idea when I was going on the street if that was a dodgy person. Japanese people would know, oh, that person's definitely maybe harboring drugs or doing something like that. But I would not be able to tell. And because people are going so fast here and there, everything happens so quick.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. When it's in like a place that's very, very, very heavily populated and everyone moves quite fast, everyone's got a place that they know they need to go to. They've got their day set, and it's like everything just moves so fast in a city like.
Yeah, that sort of rush. I mean, we get that here.
I was about to say, yeah, like big cities, you're gonna get that. Like in London, you get it. In New York, you get it. But it's like in big areas like that where everything's so quick, no one's thinking about stuff like that could happen next.
Well, especially when you're a tourist, you take your time to kind of take everything in, because everything's so, like, obviously, I still get that in cities when I travel to places I've not really been to in the UK, because I'm used to being in a town, and that's where I'm from. I live in a town. All the places I travel are very small, and even then, when some of the small towns and stuff around here are very busy on days, I still get like, whoa, there's so many people going about. But then when I go to a city where it's even more massive, I'm just like in this whole world. And it's obviously different from people, because obviously, like you, Lauren, you live in Manchester, so you're used to being in a city, a massive area, 24/7, and I'm not. And then people who are like me, who've grown up in towns, know that when you go to somewhere massive, it feels like this whole different world, and you feel like this tiny, small little ant. So, and as I'm looking at it on maps, like, Japan's fucking massive. So I'd be there in the middle of the street, just like trying to take everything, going, whoa, there's a million people going left, right, and center, cutting in front of me, trying to get past me. Excuse me, whoa, what the hell's going on? That I could have my stuff stolen in seconds. Someone could come and stab me within seconds. It's absolutely nuts. But Japan looks like an absolutely beautiful place. But these massacres seem to be more and more of a common occurrence, which is sad, and happening in all sorts of places. I've train stations, and this one was in a crosswalk in broad daylight in the middle of a massive, busy public street. So I'll be delving into more Japanese cases, but I tried to find as much information as I could for this, without having to stretch too far. But you could probably find more information on this, but that's what Japanese cases are like. The media and what gets released isn't much, so there might be some stuff. But as I said, there was footage captured on like a live stream, but that's not available online. So that was there and then, where like 1,000 people saw it in real time. But apart from that, you cannot see it. So yeah. Wait, hang on. Whoa, what's that?
What you seen? What else are you seeing?
Well, I'm looking on there, and there was a Sega thing as well. Oh, the Nintendo museums, actually. Nintendo just opened them.
Is there any additional things to this case that you want to say before we wrap it up? And then it's like, no, there was this advert that I saw.
Game Panic. No, this building's changed. It was advertising Sega.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wait.
The screens.
It's
the screens. They change. They have multiple.
Oh, yeah, this was a Sega shop. This was definitely a Sega shop, but they've changed it now to Gigo. I was actually looking at that, at abandoned Sega places in Japan, Sega stores recently, because there's still quite a few of them just out there in the open. But there's the Nintendo Museum, which is opened in Japan, and I've seen some things of that, and I really want to go and see it. That's why I want to go to Japan. It's video game, it's nerd heaven. But it's one of my bucket list places that I want to go, so I definitely want to. But I'll just say this now. No matter how many cases we cover in about certain areas and whatnot, although it's gruesome and grim, that doesn't paint the picture of how it is 24/7. So don't take these cases and think, crap, I can never visit that country, I can never go there, because it's what I've heard. Horrible things happen, but...
Don't let anything... When we talk about these cases from different countries, we understand it might freak you out, especially if you are planning on going there. But you need to bear in mind, these crimes don't happen every week. They don't happen every single day. We go through many, many different timelines in history when we cover these cases. Do not be afraid to go to these countries just based on stuff like this, because you're not going to... That's not a life to live. Go and enjoy yourself. Go and have fun. And that be it. Just go, try and live your life with no worries.
And I'll say this now, that no matter what happens, and especially in the UK, the community stays strong.
Yes.
And we rebuild after this sort of stuff happens. So whenever we've done stuff on the UK, yes, this stuff's happened, but the spirit and the community and stuff of, well, I could say this for the Scottish people, it's there. You can never dampen the spirits or put someone down, Scottish people at least. And the same with English, but no one can say more of that. But, like, you know, in these cases happen, and it does not put dampers on anyone. So even though I've never been to Manchester, cases that we've covered that related to Manchester haven't put me off going there. I would still go there, because the spirit is still strong. And serial killers think that they can dampen spirits and put an evilness on areas in the world. No, they can't.
No, they can't.
Spirit reigns strong within humanity.
Exactly. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we hope that you'll be here for the next one as well, which will be next week, but obviously. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you are still enjoying the podcast. Let us know any cases that you'd like us to cover, because I do listen when you guys request cases. I do listen. It may seem like I don't, because I take a long time to eventually get around to it. But next week's case that I'm covering is a case that one of you guys recommended in the episode comments, and you know who you are. It's next week. Do not worry.
Send me some as well. Because
yes.
I'll do any case, and I research and try and find anything that I can, but only my research can go only so far without me having some assistance from someone saying, hey, I found this one. So any case from anywhere, I'm so down for covering it. So if you send them to Lauren, then that's fine, but also send me some, because sometimes my mind's just like, I don't know where I could go with this, so, you know.
Yeah, don't worry, it's gonna be next week to that person. I know who you are, and don't worry, it's coming. Your episode's coming. Do not worry. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let us know how we're doing. We do also upload these episodes in full to YouTube now. You are listening to this on YouTube, then hello. I do upload them there as well now. They're on Spotify. They're also on Audible, if you prefer to use Audible. So go check it out. Go, stay listening, follow the podcast, all this kind of stuff, because we love it. It's great.
No, if it's YouTube, you have to say the generic YouTube stuff. Hit that subscribe button, press that like button, and hit that bell notification to be notified.
You know what?
Like and subscribe, comment down below.
That's your job now. That's your job.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your job.
Smack that subscribe button, slap that subscribe button, hit that like and bell notification, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling that bell, or whatever every YouTuber says that. But please like and subscribe.
But yeah,
I can say that now because we're on YouTube, which I didn't know, which I kind of did know, but
no, yeah, they're on YouTube. I've been working hard. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll see you guys next week for another one. And bye.
Bye.